afternoon, everybody. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day. I'm back again to work in my little fall folder book. And I'm sort of faced with a little problem here as far as how I'm going to, I've been just laying the dictionary page on with Yes Paste, and it's been working very well, but I'm afraid that might not work so well with my side pocket here. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to do a little bit different with it and try to figure it out as we go along. That's part of what our journey always is figuring it out as we go along, right? I'm thinking that if I take one of these pieces from the past few days, I could glue it in there. Because that's another thing, because I glued the pockets together ahead of time, it's not going to easily go in there. And I definitely am not going to be able to use Yes Paste to put it in there. So I think that I'm going to do it kind of like that and find my liquid glue and just put it in there. Okay, I don't want it too crooked here. And what I am doing is I'm just putting a very tiny bead of glue on the file folder, if you can see that, like so. And then just a little further in. And the one thing about liquid glue is you can move your paper around just a little bit, and that's what I'm thinking might work best. Maybe, kinda, sorta. Okay. Let's get some glue down here on this little edge. And we can always grunge it up a little bit along all of that. Now, if you notice, it went down a little crooked, and I'm not worrying about it. There we go. Oh no, I'm throwing something away. Okay. Now, my plan is to tuck this in here Just kind of like I tucked the other paper in there, and that way I can use it to protect. Now, if I had thought about this, and if I had planned ahead and decided to use this book this way in the first place, I should have put the dictionary page on that before I sealed it up. That would have been the wise decision to do, but I didn't do that. There we go. We may have to be just a little more careful on this edge with our Yes Paste, but that's okay. Okay, so we're going to set that aside for a second. Get our dictionary page that we want to use ready. We've been talking about creativity the last few days. I think creativity is also about figuring out ways to overcome little obstacles like that flat being under there. If you can't be, you've got to be flexible when it comes to doing art. You cannot do it really with a total preconceived notion of what's going to happen, because there's always something that's going to just jump out and say, hey, that's not working. I keep hoping, against all odds, that it will cool down here and stop raining. I'm so tired of the rain. Usually in July we get a little bit of weather where we don't have quite so much rain. It gets a little drier. But this year, all it has done is rained. One day, a couple weeks ago, my husband tried to mow the lawn 3 days in a row. It took him 3 days to be able to entirely mow the lawn because he would get it would be so wet. He would get it started, and then the rain would come in and he would have to stop mowing, and the next day the lawn would be too wet to mow until later on in the afternoon. So he'd start mowing, and then all of a sudden, yep, here comes the rain. And he takes care of our lawn plus 3 other lawns. His dad's, my mom's, and a neighbor of dad's that can't, she can't take care of her own. And he said, I've got to find a time when I can go in and mow all 3 of those lawns. And it was like he just couldn't mow the lawns because there was just not enough dry days. So the other thing I noticed is that I don't want to get too close to the spine with my paper. It's getting a little snug in there. If I'm not careful, I'm going to have my book where it won't open and close. So I'm just sticking my backing sheet down about a 1/16 of an inch from the very inside edge of where I'm working. So let's see how that went. Yeah, I think it went pretty good. So sorry, no, you can't see what I'm doing exactly. I'm just tearing this off. And I didn't get it perfect along the edges, and that's fine. You know me, I'm not going to worry about that completely, and it's just not worth it. Okay, now we need to ink our little edges here. I do like being able to continue on not having used the Mod Podge. There's reasons to use Mod Podge. With this particular little book, there's not. When I alter a book, I like to use Mod Podge because it helps to strengthen the pages. These file folders really don't need all that much strength added to them. Now I want to be careful. I don't want to get the whole inside of that flap. I just want the edges done. I want it to show that it is the edge of the flap. We can get it darker out here. I noticed that, yeah, I think it's fine. I was afraid I had pulled on it a little hard, getting that in there. There we go. I hope you guys are enjoying this. I've really been having fun with it. I kind of want to stick this in here just to keep the page open for right now. I don't want, and if I've got best paste on it, I don't want it sticking down into there. So, because I used, on this page, I sort of had a similar feel back and forth. On this page, I used the die cuts, so I'm going to use the die cuts over here again, although I'm probably only going to use one. Don't know just yet. I have an idea. I'm just not sure how it's going to work out. Helps when you have glue. And sometimes when you're trying to, say, tear around an object or tear a piece of paper the right size, it helps to have your object already on that paper. And one of the things I have learned is that I don't like to fight because I have too small of a piece, and I am looking at that piece of paper because the coffee dyed part has some interesting little lines on the paper. And then what I want to do is just kind of tear the shape of the leaf. We of course have to ink up the edges. We do want to grunge it up a little. And I got out another sheet of this. This is that corrugated cardboard stuff that I used here. It was a paper pad from, I don't know from where. I've had it a long time, so it's not like I haven't had it in my stash a really long time. And I usually don't use a lot of straight edges or square edges, but I thought I might turn this into a little pocket or tuck spot. I may have that too big, but I have it too big for this single little leaf. So let's look at finding something else to go with the single little leaf. That one doesn't show up enough. Maybe we'll use all of one sort of leaf. There we go. Guess what? I don't like this one on there. I really like them without that, but I don't like that one on there. So I think we will use them without. And I liked the little bit of gray. I do have a sparkly one too. And that is what I think I'm going to do. So I want to do up the edges of this. I was deciding, I'm sorry, I should tell you what I was doing, whether or not I wanted to do the straight edges with the ink. And this is just vintage photo distressed ink. It's just brown ink, guys. Yeah, okay. Now, like I said, I think I've decided I want to make this a little bit of a pocket, because I do have all these other pockets I'm going to put tags in later on down the road. So I just thought it would be cute. So I'm going to just put my glue. I want a couple of rows excuse me, of glue. I possibly should have used score tape. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the glue on that edge and then use tape on the other edge, on the bottom with a line of glue inside of it, just because it'll make it sturdier. So I'm going to just put a little bit of tape right along the bottom edge. Now you know that I always, if I use tape, I always put a line of glue inside the pocket, and I'll show you that in just a minute, where the tape won't stick to your tags. Because if you don't, now for some reason that didn't, there we go, didn't adhere to the cardboard. If you don't, your tag will slide into there and it gets stuck on the tape. So one line of glue and a line of tape is plenty. And again, come out from your inside edge here, because you don't want the thickness of this tag pocket. And see now, let's see if I can find something to stick in it. Ha ha ha. Not definitely doesn't belong, but see, you can stick little things in it now. Okay. Now let's decorate it up a little. We have oak trees here, but I do miss the maple trees that we had in Michigan. Growing up, the maple trees were always so pretty. Remember that on this corrugated stuff, your glue only touches some of the spots, so you want to put enough glue in enough places that you're sure it's going to stay on your little corrugated cardboard piece. I am really liking this two-color cardstock stuff. Not only that, it's two colors, but it's two different tones. It's like gray and black and brown and tan, so you get two tones of the same sort of color. These I haven't decided where it belongs. Yeah, up there. And this is just, I punched some of that glitter cardstock I used the other day to make the little guys. I just die cut it. I was real pleased with how well it die cut. My biggest objection to the die cuts is the fact that they get stuck in the die and you have to poke them back out. Okay, so let's just close that real well for a minute and find ourselves a little saying. And I'm going to try another one of those rub-ons that I used the other day. We'll see how it goes. At least I thought I was going to. Where did it go? That's not the right package. I have such a mess. Well, it's not the same. It's a different package, but that's all right. I used the Explore Life the other day. There's a little line in here that says Dreamer of Dreams. And I'm going to try that. And we'll see if we can get it to work. It's very tiny, but this page is small, so it should be all right. And well, we need a piece of that. This will work. This is just that coffee dyed paper. Okay. Little stick. And if you remember the other day, it didn't rub off very well, so I'm hoping I have better results this time, because I really was not happy with it the other day. I did go back and go over that with it when I finally got it finished up. I went over it with a tiny bit of Mod Podge so that it wouldn't peel back off. Especially since I had so much trouble with it. I just put a dab of Mod Podge on it with my brush. Okay. Let's see. The proof is always in the pudding. No. If you can get the very first edge of it down, it seems to go down, but I think in the future, if I want to use these, I'm going to have to rub them down ahead of time so that I don't have to make you sit here and watch me rub and rub and rub and rub and rub. Because this is just ridiculous. And they aren't that old. Last year maybe. We'll try one more time. If it doesn't stay down, then I'm going to get one from the other stack. Yeah, it doesn't. Now, what did I just tell you? That I wouldn't make you sit here and watch me do this. I don't know what I could use that would work any better. No, that doesn't work at all. Well, almost. I have one more word. The little of in the middle is not sticking. The other two words have stuck. And I'm wiggling the table like crazy. I'm so sorry. This is just frustrating though, because like I said, I got these last fall. They're not that old. They shouldn't be that much of a problem. Okay, I got it. Dreamer of Dreams. And what I thought I would do is give this make this sort of like a little flag. Not a flag, a banner. Okay. And this is the black cardstock that I cut everything out of, and yeah, there's a piece right here that I can use. Yep. And we're going to glue that down. Now, I haven't told you, but I usually stick this underneath some weight in the evenings after it gets a little bit dry. I put some wax paper in it and stick it so that it lays flat. Any kind of journal that you're building layers on will tend to start to warp or be fat, and if we can flatten them out, they just fold and lay better. Dreamer of Dreams, but let's see here. Do we have... I was thinking a little tiny gold one would be pretty, or something else up here would be pretty with this. There we go. That will also bring the red from this one into this one, which if we put a little tag in here, it's going to hide it a little bit anyways, but that's all right. I think if I decide to use any more of these rub-ons, though, that I will be doing them ahead of time so you guys don't have to watch me. That's just awful. Oh, you know what I just realized? This is 2 layers here. Because that paper was not gray on the back. I had to put something under the paper when I was doing it, so that's going to come off. I know it is, but that's okay. We'll deal with it as it comes off. If I pull it up now, I can glue it back down right in the same place, so. Well, maybe it's not going to. Okay. Well, that is our 4th page, and I hope you enjoyed this. Let me put my lid back on. And as you know, we're starting to end all the videos with a little quote from this book about what is creativity. Creativity is when curiosity is acted upon, it becomes creativity. When curiosity is acted upon, it becomes creativity. Anyways, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Please, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. And have a wonderful afternoon. Go create.